Hey everyone, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel, Mom Life with Preethi. Today I'm going to share with you about my pregnancy experience, my second pregnancy, and how and when I got my labor pains, and what did I do with the epidural and pain management, and also the first few days with newborn baby at the hospital, and then bringing the baby home. I hope you can, learn something from this, or I really hope this video is useful for you. If you have any comments, please do put it in the comment section below. I hope to, bring you some laughter, bring you some lessons, and also, share with you some of my day-to-day activities. So, I have a 2-month-old baby, and her name is Nithara. I also have a toddler at home, and her name is Aradhya. So I was not actually prepared for a second baby, to be honest. I was just, thinking if I should have another one. And, since my first baby, Aradhya, never slept, I used to have a lot of sleepless nights. And that kind of led to some postpartum anxiety and things like that. So me and my husband, we were on the fence when it came to, the discussion of having another child. Until Aradhya turned 3-year-old, we both were actually not for it. When she turned 4 years old, and in America, it's always a busy pace of life, and we parents are always working, and grandparents are coming in and out. They don't really stay here for more than 6 months. The child starts to get a bit lonely. And as a parent, when you look at your child watching TV and iPad, you kind of have second thoughts like, maybe if she had a company, this wouldn't be the case. And we see other kids around our house, like who have brothers and sisters. They tend to be more entertained. They play with each other. They fight with each other. No matter what, they have, company. So that's when I thought, let's have another one. Why not? Right? So that's how I decided to have Nithara. And my husband was still on the fence. It took me some time to convince him, but I think around 4-year-old, when Aradhya was 4 years old, we were like, okay, let's go for it. And so I got pregnant in June 2024, and my mommy and daddy were here, so it was a blessing because I got to eat home cooked food, and so it was really nice. And we also did some quick travel, like we went to Orlando Disney, and I'll put some pictures out there later. But yeah, so that was really a nice phase. And since Aradhya was born during COVID time, it was really difficult for us to do anything with the respect to baby shower, or in our culture we call it valagap, where the mother sits and in front of everyone, and they put the bangles out there. So it's really cool event. I can probably share some video clips out there from my latest valagap that we did for my second pregnancy. So So I couldn't do anything with Taradya. So this time I was like really keen about, arranging a nice Valagappa and, inviting my cousins and friends and, having a small celebration, just like a small get together. So around the month of January is when we decided to do our Valagappa. Um, we booked a hall or like a small reception area in the restaurant nearby, and I invited all my cousins, and we really had a great time. That was around my seventh month, and I was also slowly preparing for my due date, which is on the 28th of March, around this time, and I was kind of nervous because I will tell you why. With my first pregnancy with Aradhya, my epidural was a big mess, and this was in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't want to mention the hospital, but they created a lot of fuss and mess around my epidural. They first poked me, and then they realized that they've overdosed me with epidural or something of that in that line. And so there was a senior anesthesiologist who came into the hospital, and then he kept some ice on my forehead and neck, and I couldn't feel anything. So he was like, no, you should be feeling what I'm keeping on your face and neck. And therefore they cut me out of epidural because my BP was dropping and the child's heart rate was skyrocketing. So they just cut me out of epidural, and I had to push her without the epidural. So this time I was really nervous because I don't want that scenario to be happening with my second delivery. But I also wanted a kind of pain-free option. So I was juggling between taking epidural or not, and that was in my mind. And I wanted to talk to someone. So if I talk to my husband, he'll be like, it's up to you. I cannot really give you any suggestions on that. So I was like very nervous. And then what I was telling myself is, we will try. I will try to push my baby without any pain, medicines. And if I can, great, because, sometimes delivery happens really fast and you don't have time to get epidural. But if the need comes and, if I am in unbearable pain, then I thought, okay, then I'll go for it. So that's what happened. And on the 27th of March, a day before my due date, is when I started getting my labor pains. Actually, I have to tell you how this happened. Um, it was 1 a.m. and I had severe sore throat, like you won't believe it. And I couldn't sleep that night because I was not able to swallow, and there was like this huge lump in my throat that was like, creating this pain, and all the phlegm and all that. So I got down from my bedroom to my dining room because I had to get my medicine, Tylenol. And I popped in a Tylenol, and around 1:30 I came back up and I was trying to sleep, and that's when I was I was getting these pains, and I didn't realize how or what it was, because in my mind I'm like, okay, I have a sore throat, I just popped in a Tylenol and I'm getting a back pain. It might be because I just walked out of my bed, and I'm pregnant, so maybe I'm just a little uncomfortable. So I dozed off, and around 2:15 a.m. again, the pain starts coming regularly, right? Like that's how your contraction begins. So 2:15 a.m. I started getting this back pain, which was exactly how it happened with Aradhya. Many people say that they get pain in the front abdomen and near the uterine area, but for me it has always been my back. And so I remembered that, okay, this is something that was exactly the same as what happened with Aradhya. So I went ahead and I started timing in the pain, because that's what they say, right? Until it happens every 5 minutes, you don't really have to go to the hospital. So at 2:15 a.m., I recorded my first contraction, and then I waited. And it didn't happen for another 25 or 30 minutes. I think my second recording of my contraction was at 2:45 a.m. So I was a little skeptical again. Maybe, maybe not. So then I was, waiting for some more closer contractions to happen. And around 3 o'clock is when it started happening around every 10 minutes. So it was like 3 o'clock, then the next pain was around 3:10, and then 3:20. So it was like on the clock it would happen at exactly 10 minutes. So that's when I was like, okay, let's wake up my husband. Why is he still sleeping? So I woke him up, and he was really quick in, getting ready. And I prayed to God, and I was like, okay, this is it. Today is the last day that we are going to be as a family of three. Tomorrow we are going to be a family of four. And we went to the hospital at 4 a.m. We reached there at 4:15 a.m., I guess. And they took me in immediately. Um, and they put me in the labor room, and they started the IV because I guess there was some they were anticipating low BP or something like that. So this put me an IV here, and I was just waiting. And they came and asked me, "Do you need an epidural?" I said, "No, it's bearable. I can wait till it gets bad, or maybe if the baby comes out before that, we don't need an epidural." So I was waiting, and then it was 6 a.m., and I started getting hungry. 6 or 7 a.m. is when I was like starving. And I asked the doctor and nurse, "Can I eat something?" They said, "No, you cannot eat anything." And they gave me some juice, like apple juice, like, the boxed ones. So I had to, endure through my hunger. But it's kind of weird that they don't let you eat, which is, maybe they're just preparing for the worst case scenario, like, what if you have to go to a c-section, and then they'll have to cut you, and then, if you have eaten anything, your blood is probably, warmer, and it's moving faster. So and that's the reason why they don't let you eat. But in most cases, if you know that you're going through a normal delivery, eating is okay. But in America, they are extremely strict about you not eating. So, and imagine, I gave birth at 2:15 p.m., so I haven't eaten anything until then. How am I going to push? So I secretly took some biscuits and cookies and banana, which they didn't know. I'm not encouraging this at all. Listen to your doctors, listen to your nurses. But I was starving, so I ate bananas and a cookie, which my husband was also not a fan of, because he's like, listen to your doctors, but I can't take hunger. I have to push as well. So do what you think is right for you. And so, yeah, around 7 a.m. is what I took the cookies. And then around 8 a.m., I meet the senior anesthetologist. And I explained to this person that, my first time's epidural was not right with Aradhya's delivery. My epidural was messed up. So this time I'm really nervous. I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope, the epidural process itself is not going to be too painful. And the doctor assured me that, nothing of that is going to happen in this time. And you can be safe, and, you're in good hands. So I was like, okay, building up my confidence. Okay, let's do this. If it gets worse, let's go for epidural. And around 11 a.m., the doctor who was going to deliver my baby came in and introduced herself. And she said, since I'm 35 and above, my age is 36 when I delivered this baby, they are planning to, wait and see how I'm doing. And then they'll probably, give me a small dose of oxytocin for induction. So I was like, why do you have to induce me? I'm having a normal delivery. My BP is normal. My weight is normal. Everything is normal. But they kind of were hovering over this inducing, I don't know why they did that. And I still don't know why. So around 11:30 is when they decided to induce me. And once they started inducing me, I started getting a lot of pain. And it was closer, and it was just too painful. I cannot even explain how bad it was. And that's precisely why they induce you, so that your contractions get closer and it's more painful, and which means your uterine is basically compressing more, and therefore the baby comes out faster. So once they induced me, I was like in a lot of pain, and I was like just shouting, and I decided, okay, let's go for the epidural. And I was like, okay, let's do the epidural. And then they called the anesthetologist. And this time it was not the same anesthetologist I spoke to, because his shift was over. So he was gone, and there was a new girl who I think was another good anesthetologist. So she came in, and she was like, I'm going to do your epidural. And I was like, wait, what? you're not the same person. Because you don't want last minute shocks and surprises. But again, I had to build up my confidence and put my trust on her. But the same thing happened. She poked me the first time, and I could hear my heartbeat. I could taste the epidural medicine in my mouth, and I was like a little panicky. Maybe that could have added to the situation. My BP shot up, and therefore she said, "No, the epidural is not working for you, so we have to pull it out." So she took it out, and then she walked out of the room, and I guess she had some second opinion or something. And they said, "We are going to try this one more time with you, and if this doesn't work, you have to deliver your baby without epidural." And I was like, "Okay, great." So again, they bring all the needle, and they have to numb you in the back and all that. So they have these numbing injections, which are these teeny tiny injections, which kind of felt like a bee stinging you, and they would just numb you in 3 spots. You will only feel the first spot numbing, and then you won't feel anything because your back is already partially numb. And then they'll put this epidural catheter inside you, which you will feel, but it's not like pain. I would say it is a lot of discomfort. And then once the epidural is inside your back, you will feel this cold flow that's going inside from your back to your lower leg, and that was slightly painful. I would rate it like maybe 3 out of 10. That was the only pain that I had. But once the epidural was in the second time and it started working, I kind of started relaxing. Like, the induction pain was still there, mind you, that it is not going to take out 100% of the pain. I could still feel my contractions. I could still feel every single contraction that was happening in my back, and now it was slowly moving to the front. And now it was afternoon, 12 o'clock. After this 12 o'clock, what happened was, I thought I'll rest, but then this pain was just too much. So then I decided that, okay, let's go ahead and try to push, because I was getting the urge to push the baby out. But until 1 a.m. I was not able to push the baby out, and the doctor was like, you're still 7 centimeter dilated. It's still going to take some more time. And then after that, around 1:45 or 1:50 in the noon, I got this severe urge to push, and then they were not checking my dilation as well. But I was like, no, I have to push right now. I think the baby is going to come out. And they were shocked because I was on epidural and I'm getting the urge to push. So the doctor came and checked me, and I was fully dilated. So they said, okay, let's start to push. So around 2 p.m. I started pushing, and I might have pushed for like 15 minutes, and she was out. Of course, when I was pushing, it was a lot of pain. So I used several pain management tips that I learned from another online teacher. So I can share some of that with you later in another videos. So I used some pain management tricks, which I think it helped me, because it wasn't too much. I would still rate my pain, which was 4 or 5 out of 10, manageable. And I only pushed for 15 minutes, and she was out. And the baby was out, and it was just a lot of tears, and my husband was with me, and he was in tears. So it was just like a very beautiful moment that is very close to our heart. I'll probably try to share a picture of the baby that we clicked around that time. And it was such a nice feeling. And once the baby was out, all the pressure was gone, and now I was trying to relax. But since these people induced me, the induction pain was still there, and my uterine was still contracting, and therefore I was feeling that pain for at least another 5 to 6 hours. The pain was still there, and it was quite intense. So they put me on pain medications like Tylenol or something, higher range of Tylenol, so that I get a little easier with that pain. And the baby latched on immediately, and I was producing milk, so all of that was fine. And then they moved me to the resting area where they would come and check me regularly and all that. And so that was my delivery story. And I will talk about my first day and second day postpartum in my coming videos. But that was my delivery story of my second child. I hope I, could give some really good information and you could at least understand what I went through. And maybe if you are also like me, 35 and above, and you're planning for a natural delivery, this video helps you. All I can say is keep a positive mind, stay fit, drink a lot of water, and don't panic. That's what I did. Don't panic. There's nothing to worry. Doctors are good here. They take care of you really well, and all you have to do is surrender to God and surrender to the doctors, and just don't take any stress. Try to stay happy as much as possible. Listen to a lot of music, and stay cool. Thank you for watching my video. I hope to see you in my upcoming videos with more information about my postpartum journey and my, how I dealt with a newborn. Let's keep in touch. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.